Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Our next guest is a published author whose book proudly showcases inspirational stories of aspiring human resources who have defied all odds to realize their dreams while overcoming obstacles in the corporate world. So please welcome to the show, Priscilla Guasso. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you.
Priscilla, tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into the book.
Oh, I'd love to. So I'm a native from Chicago. I now live in Florida, Miami, Florida. I've loved everything I have in me is from Chicago. But to be honest, I've over the years of growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, I realized I really enjoyed being around family and friends and wanted to ensure that in everything that I did, that people got to know me a little bit more. And so here I am and writing a book, which has been amazing. But more than anything, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee.
Yeah, how was that? First came the thought, right? You looked around, you said, you know what? A lot of people are putting the pen to the paper. I think I want to do that too. I have something to take off of my mind and put onto the paper. What was your
Yeah, so honestly, I do read, and it's kind of a running joke with my family because I do read often, but not as much as my sister, who's a writer, actually. I thought she was going to come with a book before me, to be very honest with you. But over the years, having grown up in Chicago, in the suburbs actually of Chicago, I realized over time that there was not a lot of representation of Latinas in many different spaces.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was glaring at me, just something that was slowly chipping at me as I kept growing in every phase of my life, not even just at work. And as I continued my journey, my family's from Mexico. My mom's from Mexico City, and my dad is from Chicago, Illinois, with the roots from Mexico City. They ingrained in me culture and language and being proud of who I am. But oddly enough, when we grow up, for me at least, on the weekends, I was Priscilla. And then on the weekdays, I was Priscilla. And so through that, I didn't realize that I was changing, that I was doing this like code change, right? And then when I started working in HR and love what I do in human resources, that's when I realized, oh my goodness, as I moved up the ranks and became one level away from our CEO, I'm going, where are my Latinas at? What happened? How did this occur over 16 years? And that's kind of hit me in speaking to a close friend, actually, which is why I say it's so important to put good people around you that lift you and challenge you. She was the one that told me, Priscilla, if you had a dream, what would you do? No money, nothing tied to it. And I said, I would love to bring a community like this together. And that's where it started. It actually started with that conversation with that one friend.
There you go. So then you sat down and started the
process.
Yeah.
I did.
Together the outline and the whole nine,
Yeah. I wish I could tell you I had it all organized, right?
Yeah.
But it's all about life.
It's never really all organized.
Exactly.
Let me add this to this. And wait a minute. Wait, maybe this can go with this.
Exactly. So that happened with me. And I started putting Post-its and notebooks, paper and everything everywhere. And I started writing a story of my own, actually. And then I realized I don't want people just reading about me. And that's never been my motive, my personal motive, people that know me. And I think it's fantastic for those that do it. I support them 100%. But for me, with what I wanted to achieve was to bring a community of Latinas together. And so when I spoke to this friend who actually happens to be the publisher, Jackie Camacho Ruiz of Fig Factor Media, she shared with me, Priscilla, have you thought about doing it with other women and like an anthology and maybe bringing stories together that way? And I grew up reading what is it called? Chicken Soup for like the Teenage Soul and all of those stories. Yeah. And it was right aligned to what I used to read when I was younger. So I thought, why don't I do something like that in snippets? Because unfortunately, us HR folks, we're running around reading a lot of articles, doing lots of investigations. We don't, we're reading smaller things. We can't read huge novels. Some of us do. Yeah. And that's where I started. And then I realized that's what I want to do. I want to bring women together, not just my story. There's so much power in many stories together. Yeah. And then on top of that, to show the diversity and just the different lens of what each one of us went through in our lives, personally, professionally. that's where I thought that's the secret sauce, right? Where we can really impact people inside and outside of our community.
That's the sauce right there, you know. And you, when you're being interviewed, I know a lot of times you're going to describe it like you wanting it to pull a responsive chord. Like you see a commercial over and over and over again on TV, and when you go to the supermarket, oh yeah, and you reach for it automatically. And I'm sure the way you're describing it, people are going to want to reach for that book automatically.
Oh, I hope so. That was our goal, right? Is to keep inspiring. It's
Yeah,
funny stories, but honestly, there's so many more stories out there. There's not enough when we look at the stats, right? It's kind of like an inverted pyramid when we look at corporate at
yeah.
the highest levels of 1%, 2%, 3% Latinos in those roles. And so I'm hoping this will just be that one piece that keeps bumping us and changing those stats.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Padilla, and say it again. One day
Sorry?
you were Priscilla, and the other was
Yeah, so during the weekday, yes, during the weekday I was Priscilla, and then on the weekends I was Priscilla or Prisi. And
yeah,
so I was always moving back and forth during the weekday, always in English, playing volleyball, in sports, you know, getting my grades up. And then on the weekends I was at church with my friends, but all spoke Spanish, 100%.
yeah,
It was a Spanish speaking community. So that's when I realized there's something, this is not normal.
yeah.
Why can't I integrate the two? What's the big deal?
Did mom and dad call you Prisi? Prisi?
Prisi, yeah, all the time. And it's funny. I still have friends that I meet in our community that will say that immediately. And I'm going, wow, my closest friends say that. I guess you're now one of my closest friends. I love it.
And Prisi, this is why your book is in English and in Spanish, right?
Exactly. Yes. That's very important to me, Dr. Lee. I actually wanted to launch them together in English and Spanish. But as you know, funding and all of that, I was like, we'll give it some time. We got to save. It'll all work out when it's meant to be. And to be honest, I love the way it launched because we were able to build community in English here in the States. And then now we're building it in Spanish here in the States and globally. And so it's been beautiful to hear stories, folks from all different backgrounds inside our Latina community and outside. I just had an uncle call me. I think I mentioned to you earlier, being in Mexico, and I had an uncle call me who I could finally give him my book when I landed at the airport. He came just to say hi to me really quick. He lives almost 2 hours away. And he goes, I just need to say hi to you. And I go, well, I have something for you. And I showed him my book in Spanish and the tears. And he just was telling me, it's so beautiful to be able to read it in my mother tongue, right? And I'm gonna start crying because that is why, actually, one of the reasons why I did this. I wanted to honor my family, honor our community, and really inspire folks that don't have access to mentors, to sponsors, to these dreams, to know that you're able to do it, but it does require a community around you, right? That's one part of it. So to hear his words just made my trip amazing.
Yeah, you know, you may have to do a part 2.
Yeah.
You know, it was so touching that you may have to add a part 2 to that one.
Yeah.
So you have the business Rising Up in HR. You mentioned that in the book also.
Yeah, so Latinas Rising Up in HR, we started off as a book with 20 women, and the calling card was, I sent it actually, it was just an idea to send it out to all the leaders that I knew, and many of them that are non-Latinos. And so I said, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Fully supportive. Priscilla, this is amazing. How has this never been done before? Why is this? And this was during the pandemic. Right before I left my job for a year to want to do this, I knew it was time for me to do something for me, to also take care of my health. I talk about it in my story. My husband and I unfortunately went through 2 miscarriages that then hurt my mental health and my physical health. No, thank you. But again, why it's so important for us to constantly search for that assistance. And through that, I was able to make something so beautiful, which is what we have in front of us. And I connected with each one of these women. I also interviewed them, the people they knew, the people they referred, because Dr. Lee, to me, it was important that it wasn't just, you're Latina, awesome, I'm here. No, I really wanted you to have a servant heart, that you were in it for the right purpose, the reason. A lot of work went into this, but we found the 20 stories. We got to know each other through COVID. None of us knew each other except for maybe 2 or 3 of us previously from my experiences in hospitality and working in healthcare. And
well, we have a lot to talk about. You got to come back again.
Thank you.
They give us segments on the show, and you have one very important segment too. So thank you so much for all that you do. Name of the book again is, and where we can get it. And
yes, Latinas Rising Up in HR, or Latinas Avanzando en Recursos Humanos. You can find
out. I like the way it rolls off of your tongue.
I have the blessing of having been brought up with both languages, so I'm very, very proud of it.
You have a website?
Yes, you could go to www.latinasrisingupinhr.com. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on any social media, LinkedIn, and we look forward to staying connected.
Priscilla Guasso, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
You're welcome. All right, Bobby C is up next. He has the latest in the world of sports. Don't move a muscle. We'll be right back.